Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV patch 7.4 coverage. We're looking at everything we physically can. Today we're looking at the tea flower corsage, which are of course headpieces designed in the theme of various different colors of tea flower. As you can see, the recipes for these are basic level 88 alchemy using the colored tea flower that you can grow from a seed in a pot, and bear fat and ambrosial water. Bear fat and ambrosial water are very basic ingredients, and of course all of the recipes are the same aside from a different color. If you are interested in picking up and growing the tea flowers yourself, you can go to a florist such as Tani here in New Gridania, just down from the main Aetheryte. The florist here, there are other florists in the game. Tick show only recently added items, and you can get the tea flower seeds for 300 gil per seed. So if you want to get these, put them in a pot in your house and grow them, that's how you would get the actual flowers. Okay, starting off then, let's look at the red tea flower corsage just to give us a nice baseline. So as you can see, there is a little bit of a gap between your character's head and the corsage, which is off of the side of the left of your head. And this gap obviously will differ depending on your character's race and if there are any other adornments, including horns and things like that from Aura. And as you can see, there are small amounts of physics. It is reactive to the wind, as you would expect, with those little tassels below the actual sort of knot design of the rope with the corsage at the top. The flowers themselves look pretty cool with well-pollinated stamens and nice shiny green leaves. It's quite nice, actually. Quite cool. And then there is the blue one, and you'll notice that it is the flower itself that is changing color rather than the middle of that flower, as well as the rope as well, which goes a much darker color than that of the petals, but they've got a kind of like nice highlight with a tiny little bit of vibrance on there as a very small amount of luminosity. The yellow one then obviously bringing out some more of those details. It has a white piece of rope as opposed to a yellow piece of rope, so there is a bit of a difference then with some of these corsage. They don't all follow the same route, and as you can see, they're kind of like the little striations there on the petals, which is quite interesting. And then we have the green ones, which has this kind of beige color, I think that's fair to say, or like a copper color. It is beige, isn't it, of a rope. And then we've got those green petals, and that's about all the difference there. For the orange one, we're going back to a yellow piece of rope here, but we've got that sort of vibrant, almost red actually, the orange under certain light conditions. I think it's just the lighting in here in the Grand Cosmos on Explorer mode. But yeah, there's some nice detail there. A lot of the brighter colors seem to sort of dull out a lot of the texture details on those petals, but they do look nice, and you should be able to match to some interesting glamours. And then we have the purple, which honestly is usually one of my favorites, although I'm not really sure how much I like the rope. It's a very, very dark purple in this, which might be difficult to match with on some things. It's like a deep currant purple, whereas the petals are a much brighter color. And then we have the white, which has this actually very nice sort of almost pastel or colibri sort of pink rope, which is a really nice touch because the white and pink is something that a lot of people usually match together. And in this case, I think this might be the most useful for, you know, my glamour ideas. I mean, I have pink highlights in my character's hair, and I use a lot of pastel pink as a contrast to white. A bit of a pure white addict and a bit of a pastel pink addict in this game at the moment with glamours. Then we have the black tea flower corsage, which is kind of an even darker purple. It doesn't really look that black to me. I don't know. This is at like pretty high light content here, but even if we turn the lighting up even more, you can't really, it doesn't necessarily look that black in my opinion. It looks like a muted purple. Maybe it's just my eyes. And then finally we have the rainbow tea flower corsage, which is quite nice. It's got its nice white, sort of snow white on one of the petal flowers. We've got red on the front flower, and we have a purple on the back with those beautiful green leaves and that golden yellow rope, which might be the nicest of these. It is also worth noting that there is an extra flower on the rainbow one. This white flower isn't normally here on the other corsage. So that's quite nice, quite welcome. So if you want even more flowers, this is probably going to be the more sought after one, especially if you're going to create ideas for a ceremony of eternal bonding, things like that. Yeah, it's a really nice headpiece. Not the worst I've seen, but you will need to figure out something with your hairstyles to make it pad out a little bit, with more hairstyles sort of clinging to the side of your face and other race gender combinations. You're probably going to end up with either a bigger gap than others. Definitely one of my favorite of the Corsage that they've added in the previous years. Let me know what you think about these items. Hopefully that was helpful to show those off. And of course, definitely make the most of those seeds. Go and grow them and see if you can flip a profit. I think the Rainbow Corsage is going for about 86,000 gil, which sounds like nothing, but the materials are very easy to get. And it gives you a reason to actually grow stuff in a pot in your house. Much love. More videos on the way from 7.4 onwards, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.